Welcome to the Gooners podcast post-game open mic show, episode 6.51, back in fourth place, winning everything in sight, except for when we don't win, special leadership group edition. Oh, and welcome to the leadership group.
Yes, I'm a part of the crew.
You are a part of the crew. You have to wear your special leadership group hat and have your special leadership group And don't forget, if I can find it, I have a leadership group monocle somewhere here, which I will find. But are you happy? Because I just watched an hour of you talking seriously about Arsenal and not actually even seeming that happy on a Bergkamp Wonderland.
No, do you want to know what I told you this earlier? My missus has actually tested positive for COVID, and it's knowing that eventually it's coming for me. It's just a matter of time, Mike. So these could be my last moments on this planet.
Which is why I wanted. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to make light of that. I hope that you are. I mean, have you been just making out with her, or have you been like? I mean,
no, I've actually just been spitting at her and kicking her into a room and trying to close the door, like a leper.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, she, whatever happens to her, I'm fine with. But you, my friend. Mm-hmm. You had. I mean, I haven't met her. She seems lovely, but
she's not.
I need you, and I wanted to get you on for one last open mic pod just in case we lose you. But is it Omicron or is it West Hamicron? What I mean,
that many variants, man. I don't know. I didn't look at her to inspect her enough.
You didn't stick your finger in to see which variant it was.
Yeah,
to her mouth. I'm talking about.
I'm just hoping that the morgue will be able to tell me after the autopsy.
Well, I mean, we at least need to be able to share that news, and hopefully she does feel better soon, very much better soon. Welcome to the chat. We got some people in the chat who are not in the open mic. We'd love to see you, MK, Dempsek, BX Gunner, Daniel Robert. If you come on, please join us at GoonerOpenMic.com. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm obviously happy. I've been popping champagne. I'm drinking straight out of the bottle tonight because, look, Arsenal are top four, Owen.
I was saying to Danny before we went on a Bergkamp Wonderland, I just feel much more relaxed about life, and this is just the spot that I'm used to.
I'm relaxed about life when we're losing because I'm like,
do you want to know what it was, man? Do you know when you went to London and you were sleeping in fucking Airbnbs and hotels and shit? And like, it's fine, it's okay, but when you get home to your own bed, your own pillow, everything, and it's just like, fuck yeah. It's like, so that's what I feel like.
Top four is your pillow.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful. Yeah. I mean, look. I don't care if every team below us has 9 games in hand. We're still in the top four, and it's where we belong. And there's no, they're going to have fixture congestion. We're going to have no congestion whatsoever. Some of those games are going to get dropped. So, I mean, if you had told me if you had told me in early September when we were apparently getting relegated directly into League One, that we would be fourth place behind 3 teams, basically top of the rest. Because those 3 teams, I mean, no one's catching those three teams this year. One of them might end up like having a massive injury thing where they end up finishing fourth and some team slides into third. But other than that, those teams are finishing top three, and fourth place is the one to be had. And right now we're in the spot. So, we're going to bring on some people in the chat. If you want to be involved in this tonight, go to GoonerOpenMic.com and you can join us live. And trust me, if you've never had the experience,
we're awesome.
Congratulations. But you got to do, just like everybody, in college, I did a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have done at least once, because you try everything once. So I think you should have the same, the same approach. So we're going to start with the first person to join us today, who was here early and often. I think he was on with us last week. On when we were on with the on the Highbury squad, but AFC Max, you're looking as though you've been celebrating and your hair's all wild, and so
no, this is a classic bed hair. So it's what my hair looks like when I drink too much water or to drink too much caffeine in the morning, and it suddenly just turns to shambles. So
you can never drink too much water.
Just be happy you have it. Because this is going on and shit.
By the way, Mike, that intro, I was expecting Michael Bay to come up in the intro with the terms of like the introduction to the podcast, that was certainly some interesting banter towards the start before you started the show. I wasn't entirely sure what was going on with what the joke or the premise was, but
I always forget the backstage could hear what we're saying, and I mean there was.
It's lucky that we don't have any reputations to destroy.
Yeah. Did I say anything about Owen's penis? I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but yeah, no.
Don't worry about it.
This is the Gooners podcast, and you get little extras where you go around. But all right, so Max, same starting 11, 3 games on the trot. Horrible game against Everton. Pretty good game, although we didn't really need a full 90 against Southampton. They were so bad. And then I would venture to say maybe the first time we've played a full 90 of incredible football this game. Same starting 11. So manager, focus, players, tactics, formation, home and away crowd. What's the difference to you?
I spoke to you after the Everton game, and I made my points very clear after the Everton game on the Highbury squad, and you nodded in agreement with a few of what I was saying. I think it's now clear to see that this is the team going forward for until the end of the season, or at least until January, where we can get some reinforcements in. I think that's now clear to see. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't convinced that would get a result against West Ham. I wasn't, because of obviously recent performances leading up until the West Ham game. Obviously the Everton one obviously sticks out. Southampton being poor, as the one you mentioned as well. But I'll give Arteta credit, man. Like he got it right, and you got to take your hat off to him and say, look, he did well. The players did well, and and I jumped onto certain talk sport shows, and they were saying that West Ham were poor because they were just in a bad run of form, that we didn't actually make them look poor. So I'm just, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, eventually, if we keep sort of this sort of fluid, sort of recent performances, like just being consistent and all that kind of stuff, I think, eventually, I think Arsenal will get the credit it deserves. But we've had years and years and years of being sort of inconsistent and sort of not being able to pick up performances like at games like this. Obviously the Aston Villa game obviously sticks out in my memory. The Leicester games, the Leicester performances that we've gone up there in the recent history of time that obviously hasn't been great. So it's all about consistency. It's all about the players performing. And I think if we can go to at least the Man City game in the start of January. And not have not lost the game, we could say that we've sort of bounced back from the Everton game, and it was a bit of a blip. But I've said this also for a long time now, that this team is going to have its highs and it's going to have its lows as well, and it's going to be a bumpy road, as like people would like to call it. And it's not the complete package. If you look at where Chelsea were A couple of years ago, they were pretty much the same place, but they had to spend a shit ton of money to get to first position. And we are the club that's going to spend a ton of money. We have to work within our means. As much as that angers me and frustrates me, because that Stan Kroenke doesn't spend enough money to make us more and more competitive. But we've got to work within our means. But yeah, no, I can't say enough about that performance. I'll go far as to say that was probably our best game of the season so far. It's certainly right up there with the Leicester one for me, and it's certainly right up there with the Aston Villa one as well in stages. So yeah, that's where I stand on that one.
And what is it, Max, about that performance that that differs from the likes of Everton, and why do you think that we can't really sustain levels of performance like that over a lengthy period of time?
I think it's purely down to obviously people still obviously realizing the tactics and obviously match sharpness and all that kind of stuff. Because if you look at the way that Arteta wants to play his style of football, it's a very pressing style of football. It's a very counter-attacking pressing style of football, especially towards the front, and it's beating the press. And I think certain players, you've seen it in certain players, especially the new stars of the team, of the likes of Tomiyasu, Gabriel. Sort of Ben White, obviously Kieran Tierney and Tavares, they can both play that style. The Congo can play it, and obviously the new people around, obviously Odegaard and Emile Smith Rowe and Saka, that's been, our star key players this season, obviously been performing and all that. And it's obviously there's a few probably players in there from the Emery period and the Arsene Wenger period that still have yet to grasp the identity of the team. But we'll get there eventually, whether that be we give, like I said, another year contract and so we can sustain him until the end of January, or whatever means that we need to do to sort of increase our chance of getting into the top four and securing it. I'm all for that.
Yeah, players at Arsenal, we know that they're mostly not the finished product. We know that the coach is certainly not a finished product. The team in its stage is not a finished product. So other than comparing us to Liverpool wasn't a finished product. It is now a finished product. Chelsea and Manchester City are finished products constantly because they buy the finished product, with the rare occasion of when they promote somebody from within, like a Phil Foden, who is clearly now the finished product. So the thing that's going to lack when we have games where we're just kind of scratching our head saying, why don't we see the same performance that we saw against West Ham, against Tottenham, against Villa, is consistency. And that is just endemic of a team that is still kind of putting it together. I don't know why. I know why, because it's been 5 or 6 years since we've had the kind of success that we expect at Arsenal Football Club. And even then it wasn't kind of the success that we want. But so I know why. But when people expect us to be consistent and play the same every game that they do before, I think they're really overlooking the age, the mentality, the things that are going on. And again, despite all that, we have found our way from 20th to 4th in a matter of 3 months. And I just can't ignore that something must be going right for that. And again, as recently as back-to-back losses against Manchester United and Liverpool, Manchester United and Everton in Liverpool, you got people, saying that this needs to be ripped up and started again. And I just disagree with that, Max. Before we switch over, just your final comment that you want to make, and then your man of the match for today.
I think also that my final comment will probably be, I think if you look at our home form this season, we've only lost to Chelsea, at the start of the season, and we've had a draw. The rest have been wins. If you look at that in the context of the teams around us, that's absolutely phenomenal in terms of our home form. And it's sort of getting back to those times when the Emirates used to be a fortress and teams used to come there not being able to get any points. It's not going to be a sudden thing. It's not going to be a gradual thing, but we're slowly getting there. It's just that we need to sort of start picking up away performances, points, and sort of slowly improving on those. Back to what you were saying before, it's obviously a young team. It's still quite raw, and as I said before, it's still going to be bumps in the road. So we're just going to have to like take it one game at a time and not get too over the top. But I've already drank in 2 glasses of champagne, so I'm already out of this world in terms of like the alcohol and booze and everything else. So
it's exactly what we want for someone coming onto the Open Mic podcast. I mean, you've clearly understood now the way that this show works. So where are you calling from again?
Australia.
I love it. All right, and who's
so my man of the match would definitely have to be Martinelli, because Martinelli was absolutely phenomenal in the entire game. I also want to give some honorable mentions to, obviously, Ramsdale was a save towards the end there. Kieran Tierney, if that shot had gone in, would be going off our chops, and doing, like probably Formula One raceway, spilling beer over the top of our heads. And also I also want to give an honorable mention to Saka and obviously Lacazette as well. So because obviously Lacazette led from the front. Obviously, there was a lot of leaders. I was listening to the Hybrid Squad podcast when I was doing the player ratings, that they all talk about having very good leadership performances today as well. So I want to give a big shout out to those players in particular. But Martinelli for me is definitely the man of the match as well. I'm lucky for Lacazette to not have scored the penalty, and it could have been at least 4 or 5 today. So, but thanks for having me, Mike. I really do appreciate it.
Max, please come back. We're going to do this show on our channel sometimes. We're going to do it on Hybrid Squad sometimes, but we'll tweet out ahead of the game. Follow the Gooners pod, and you'll be able to find out where we're going to be. But thanks, Max. Appreciate it. And good morning?
Yeah, well, it was 10:17, so yes, morning, I would say, yes.
Beautiful, mate. All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Cheers, Max.
All right, so yeah, champagne. We've been asked champagne. Now I'm having champagne at least at 6:17 p.m. where I am. Max having some champagne at 9 o'clock in the morning. You gotta love that. Right, Owen? I mean,
if there's anything we endorse on this podcast, it's morning drinking on a weekday.
It's morning drinking and afternoon, whatever it was that Andy was doing the other night. Yeah. We've got Arnie from Iceland. I have some relatives named Arnie. It's a pretty popular name, but good to see you, Arnie. Arnie Arneson here with Owen Owenson and Mikey Mikeson. Next up with the open mic is going to be a man from Richmond who conveniently vacated the city when I came down to visit them last weekend, and we're going to find out why. And he came up to my neck of the woods when I went down to his neck of the woods. It's almost like swinging. But Colin,
evening.
I kind of thought that maybe you'd stick around to share a beer with Magic Mike of all people, but no, you had to come up to my neck of the woods, and no, Colin from Richmond, Virginia, welcome back.
Hello.
To see you. Hello. Obviously a Howard Stern aficionado, which is big in my book. But what did you make of the game?
Loved it. What an evening, I thought. It was late December back in 21.
It's mid-December.
Almost, really close. Anyways, lovely performance. I thought from a complete 90 minutes standpoint, that was definitely our best performance of the season. I thought it was the most controlled that we've had all year. It felt like even in the last 10 to 20 minutes of the game, where you could definitely tell we went a bit into game management mode rather than fully going for that third one, we still had a lot of confidence on the ball, and we still had some good moves going forward.
It's funny. It's funny you talk about game management. I don't mean to interrupt you, but let's have a back and forth. One of the groups I'm in on WhatsApp, which contains a lot of people who tend to be seen on fan cams, not necessarily Arsenal Fan TV, but not to the exclusion of Arsenal Fan TV. A lot of comments about how we sat back after it was 1-0. And I just didn't see that tonight.
No,
I didn't see that at all. I mean, did we? I mean, when we've sat back after 1-0, we sat back. We didn't have another opportunity until we conceded. We had the missed penalty. We had other opportunities. I didn't see us sitting back at all after the first goal. And it was just shocking me that some very knowledgeable, bald people we're talking about, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We're talking about us sitting back. I mean, so I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I like to jump in with the fact that you've said we didn't sit back. We kept going. And game management, it's not just all out like we need to get this goal to win 2-0 like it's Anfield 89 type of situation. It's we're still going to go for it, but smartly, right?
Yeah. And I think we definitely gave up a little more possession, I would say, when we went up 1-0, which maybe can, if you're watching it, your mind can easily think like, hold on, I've been seeing way too much of West Ham on the ball. Because I do think that we dropped off with possession, but we never lost that creative confidence going forward. We were making triangles. We were getting into those half spaces. We were always looking for a way forward. We never went into horseshoe of doom and gloom that we saw so much last season. We never reverted to that. It was always playing through the lines and really testing that West Ham defense for an entire 90 minutes, I thought, which is, in my recollection, the first time we've seen that this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
do you think, Colin, as well, that not to dive into the whole Aubameyang debacle, but that's a thing. That's a fucking thing.
The debacle is a thing?
It is a thing, right? It's an Irish thing. Stop judging me. Colin, with Aubameyang being out of the side and Lacazette being in the side, something that I've been quite critical of Aubameyang in is that people talk about the lack of creativity, but you can only pass to what's there. Do you think that between Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, and Alexander Lacazette, that they sort of rectified that issue? And are you starting to see sort of tangible evidence that the criticism of the lack of creativity, lack of chance creation, that's starting to be rectified over the last 2 games?
It certainly is. I don't think I necessarily would argue that the reason we're seeing it starting to get rectified is because of Aubameyang's absence. I think it's just more to the fact that these guys look like they're starting to get that chemistry going. To me, that is really, it looks to be as simple as that. It just looks like they're starting to understand each other more. And something that we've loved from Lacazette last season is I think all of us really liked how he plays with Saka and Smith Rowe. And so that's always been there. But to see Gabriel Martinelli and Martin Odegaard also getting thrown into the mix at times and them starting to really flow with the other guys up top, I think that's the main reason why we won with ease today. We won on merit, as Sophie put earlier at the.
I love that. We won on merit. If we had beaten Everton after taking a lead on them, you could have. I mean, any reasonable Arsenal fan would have said, "I'm happy for the win," but we didn't win on merit. If we had drawn today, we would have won on merit, but drawn. I mean, it was, moral victories mean nothing. But like, if you're paying attention to how we play, if your thing is about the style of play and the confidence and the players being up for the game, if you get an unlucky result, like dropping points today, if things had gone differently in the second half, you have to at least give credit for what you see. And to me,
I was actually thinking of that. Sorry to jump in, but I was actually thinking that when it was 1-0 still and West Ham were putting on a little more pressure, I was thinking, do you want to know what? This is the first time in a long time that if we don't pick up the full 3 points, that
you'll still say we had a good game.
Yeah, I can't walk away overly, because, and what's really aggravating me in this is it's sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because prior to this game, every other neutral in the Premier League, every other pundit was blowing smoke up West Ham's ass, saying that, these are, odds-on favourites to get that 4th spot, and they're the in-team, the informed team. And now that we've beat them, it's like, it's just West Ham. What are you getting overexcited about?
I mean, look, West Ham is West Ham Leicester, when they won the title, all the other teams that kind of play above their station and spend time in the top four, the thing that's generally in common with them, Colin, I think, is that they stay healthy and they're a team that wants to show that they're better than they are. And they usually have a coach who is good at organizing a team that's a mid-table team. Brendan Rodgers and David Moyes, I think, are the best at making a 10th place team 5th or 6th. And occasionally 4th. I don't think that they're championship coaches, which is why I would never, and by championship, I don't mean the second tier. I mean, I don't think that they're ever going to lead a team to league title, but they're good at making those teams punch above their weight. And I think, what we saw today, that West Ham's got some injury issues. Their back was soft and we exploited it. So we got to move on. We've got a few more people, but Colin, you're man of the match. And the reason why you left town instead of hosting me in your pub.
First off, I did leave town. I was my dad's up there, so I was spending the weekend with him in the DC area.
I'm your new dad, by the way.
Horrible luck, I know. Now I've got two.
Or was it you managed to avoid him?
Yeah, he's smart. He's the smartest guy on this panel right now.
I was like, Dad, you're in DC, right?
Whereas I actually fucking took a flight to go and meet this guy, and it was like, oh shit.
We will meet up, Magic Mike. I promise.
We will do that. It was a fun time down. It was a fun time down in Richmond. I'm sure it was a fun time at Lucky Bar in DC.
I did miss Gus's. I will say Gus's is rowdier. We
was
do more singing
Saturday.
and cheering. I was like up out of my seat yelling after the first goal against Southampton, and I was the loudest person there.
How was Lucky Bar? Because I'm technically allowed there, but I haven't been there in 8 years for legal reasons. So
yeah, it's a lovely place. It's a lovely place.
Yeah, just don't fall down the stairs.
As loud as
don't fall down those stairs. All right, you're man of the match.
Oh yeah, I'll try and keep it quick. So I think in actuality, I am with Max's pick with Martinelli, but I'm going to go with Lacazette because I'd like to talk about him really quick. I know he missed the penalty, which is, a bummer, which is why I'm leaning a little bit towards Martinelli. But he was the boss. He was in charge. I thought that was his best performance of the season, and he absolutely, I thought, played like a captain today. I'm not saying moving forward that he should be, but if Arteta made him captain today and that's how Lacazette repays him with, I think we're going to see him be captain for a little while longer, if I had to guess, because he looked like he was just bossing it there. And I was extremely, extremely impressed with his forward play and his work rate. And he was able to keep that going longer than the 60-minute mark, which we so often associate with him as being where he taps out.
Yeah, well, or where he's pulled out. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Colin, thanks for joining us. Owen, any last words for Colin? Colin has another doppelganger that was brought up tonight. I don't know who that was. Ricky Fowler, I think, is the best.
Ricky Fowler, yeah.
Brian O'Driscoll, he was the Irish national team rugby captain. He's one of the best rugby players of all time, and not a bad-looking chap, some would say. So,
yeah,
I'll take those.
Yeah, you take those.
Brian O'Driscoll.
Ricky Fowler probably richer though, probably more money in his pocket. So,
Ricky Fowler.
he's a golfer. Look him up. All right, Colin, thanks for joining us, buddy. Take care. See you soon.
Pleasure to you both. Have a great night. Thanks for having me.
All right, so lots of people in the chat. Again, if you want to join us, if you want to have a face reveal, there are some people who we haven't seen on camera yet that are in the chat a lot. Matthew D'Souza, Arnie Arneson, I think Mark Bacredan came on with us once, which was beautiful. Daniel Robert has come on with us. He made a comment about eating a tough steak, which he's seen me do in person while I was getting coughed on and hacked on by him, which somehow didn't lead to me dying. Carnage 1618 is in the house. Dublin Gooner, would love to see you on. But next, we're going to bring on someone who appears to be out in the wild. She's a bit wild, but in a very good way. MK, where are you right now?
I'm at the Fox and Hounds, which is
Oh,
where
okay.
Arsenal LA meets. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it looks like you're
It's really
outside
cold
the Fox
here,
and
even
Hounds.
for my native New Yorker. Yeah, it's like in the 40s.
What is it? What is it about our show that attracts day drinkers? This is
What's that?
What is it about our podcast that attracts day drinkers?
I don't know.
What
It's got to be something to do with football, yeah.
Yeah,
And the fact that we're 8 hours behind.
we got
Or
3:31 in the
audience.
afternoon. We got 9:30 in the morning.
If I'm having trouble hearing, it's because I'm also, unfortunately, on the flight path to Burbank Airport. Yeah, so that's not exactly convenient. I don't have headphones here. But
Well, then how about this?
Since I'm listening, yeah.
How about this? Instead of us talking to you and looking at your ear,
Yep.
let's
Look at
hear
your
from
ear.
you and what you think about the game today. So I'm going to tee you up.
Yep.
The game, the lineup: Arteta, Aubameyang, man of the match. Go.
Yeah, so I think that for me, it's probably Gabriel Martinelli. I mean, if you look at his impact throughout the game, his work ethic, I mean, his standing tackles alone as an offensive player are enviable. I mean, if this guy's work ethic is unrivaled, truly, and it's no wonder that folks like Ben White and Tierney rate him as the best in training. I mean, that's high praise, yeah. I think it was Owen and I that were on the Highbury squad at the same time that were talking a bit about Martinelli. And, I'm glad to see he's getting minutes. I think there's question marks there about his fitness. Yeah. But overall, I think that him and Lacazette, but I think Martinelli just a tad over Lacazette just because he got the job done. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
Man, I wasn't sure about him as a center forward, but now I kind of might want to see it. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that as a center forward, I think he's probably going to start to try to change his game a bit to be a little bit more of a target man. And the things that make him special are the work rate and the effort that he puts in. So, I mean, I think he could probably do the job as a 9. But I don't necessarily want to be forced to see it. I'd love to see him on the wing, and again, that's to Pepe's and Aubameyang's loss. But at least one of the two of them, I don't care about anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, Pepe's kind of over. Yeah. I mean, that was also kind of a question. It's not that I want to see that, but it's clear to me that Arteta obviously doesn't rate this guy, and I think from what Kevin Campbell said on Highbury squad is that, it might come down to training issues. Yeah. So if he's not, making his case in the training sessions, but maybe Martinelli is, he's going to displace Pepe, as a winger. Aubameyang, there's got to be some Chinese club that wants him, right? Some Chinese club.
I don't think that's a thing
I'm an
anymore.
F1 fan. There's plenty of countries that we just raced in that probably would love an Aubameyang. Yeah, they'll fucking buy his shirts.
I think the time for selling players
program,
to
but
try
yeah,
to-
you know what I mean. They'll pay the money. That's what I'm saying. And I regret it because one of the first authentic shirts I bought for the Arsenal in a long time, because I have a no names policy, by the way, was an Aubameyang shirt after he re-signed, and I love that blue kit, that nice blue tie-dye kit. As a pale person of Irish descent and Irish passport, Owen knows what I mean. We clash with most kits.
Yeah, we can't pull
Us
off that
pale
kind of
Irish
shit.
folk, yeah. So
I
I'm
love
disappointed. Yeah.
I love the. I was about to say I love the paleness. That's a little creepy. I meant to say I love that blue kit. The blue kit with the Aubameyang is the exact same one that I have, and I'm on
It's
a
classic.
no name. I'm on a no name policy, except for I got Tierney, and then I'm on the verge of getting a Ramsdale goalie kit because I can't stand how much I love that guy. But all right, so you started with your man of the match. Anything else? Anything else you want to go for while we look at your background and your lovely?
Yeah, I apologize. Like I said, I did not think Safari. That's a shout to Apple for bad sound quality. I'm on an iPhone 12. There's no reason, even with Burbank overhead, that the sound quality should be so bad. So I will allow you to hand off to Alonzo here what I would say after this is that I think Arteta was really under pressure. And I think that he managed the substitutes well. I think his in-game management was excellent, despite the criticism against Arteta for that. I think that a lot of people were questioning why he took off Odegaard, but ESR was a quality substitution. I think people are tired of seeing Nketiah, but no harm, no foul. And I think this was a good win for us. And I think Leeds is in a relegation battle, so I have family that are Leeds supporters. I look forward to shitting on them when I'm back in New York. We're going to be going to the pub in New York for that, so I'm flying out in a few days. That'll be good fun, and so I think we got another 3 points, and I think dropping Aubameyang was the right decision. I think if anyone has been following Aubameyang's career for any length, when he was in Dortmund and his antics, no one should be surprised by his behavior. He's not a team leader. He should have been removed from the captaincy after the Tottenham match last year. And I think that I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. And so, up the Gunners into the future is what I'll end on.
Beautiful. And I know that we keep almost meeting, and hopefully Gooner Gra will have a chance to meet. But there is nothing that Owen likes better, and Owen's booking a flight to New York right now for next week, because he likes watching people shit on their families.
Yeah, you want to come drink with some half Scottish, half Irish degenerates? Just hit me up on Twitter. All right.
So there's no Judaism in your history with your last name? I mean, is there no Judaism in you?
There is Judaism I'm Alsatian. Right, so the thing is, Arsene Wenger is
like some Judaism?
My family is. So my grandfather is Ashkenazi. So yeah, I've got all the good parts of me. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah, you've got it.
All right. MK, I love you for.
That's the only passport I qualify for. Yeah, I speak French.
I love you for real.
I don't when it comes to the Henry discussion in 2010.
Go to LA Gooners. Go to LA Gooners. Help raise money for the people that Jared is actually helping. In Kentucky and in other areas that were hit by the tornadoes. Not a joke at all, like most of the last few minutes of what I've said.
Yeah, these people are real poor too. As far as the U.S. goes, this is the poorest part of the U.S. These people got they have no home insurance, man. I got
saw
anything
that.
to give, please.
I saw that today. I'm working insurance, so I'm always kind of raising my eyebrow when people are in a position where they have to ask for help because there's insurance to help people. However, if you can't afford insurance, that is a different story. And most of the people in this area are so, they're struggling so much, and now they've lost everything that they have. So please go to LA Gooners and help out. MK, take care.
Yeah.
Enjoy New York. And let's talk soon.
ArsenalLosAngeles.com if you wish to enter for an Invincible signed shirt. It's not going to hang on my wall, so it may as well go to someone else that'll appreciate that history. So Beautiful. Right out of my personal collection, I promise it's washed. It's my jersey from high school, but the most. No,
I'm only bidding on it if it smells like an MK. All right, see you later. Take care. Before I get canceled, bye.
Take care. Bye.
Speaking of late for that.
Speaking of you getting canceled, we're going to bring on a third host, and then we're going to keep going through guests. All right, because we have one and only Sophie Nicolau joining us. We do the backwards salute on our podcast.
Oh, I started my show today doing this to West Ham fans in the media, like the old friends of Napoli.
Yeah. We had my mate Kevin on our podcast this week, who his son and my son were on a travel soccer team together a couple years ago, and he's West Ham through and through. He's an expat, used to play cricket for England, actually, on a national level, and he felt fairly confident about this game, but he's texting me throughout the game about all the poor refereeing decisions, and I'm like, sorry, man. I'm just gonna stay quiet because I'm enjoying this, and I don't want to be that guy, but
I just needed to swear a little bit, so I thought I'd come say.
You come on my channel. Yeah, you were so reserved on your. I've never seen you so giddy. I wanted to join you, but I didn't. I knew you were on a roll. But
do you know what? I'm on a different laptop, and I was trying to send you the invite, and then because I had chat going, and I was on my own tonight. I completely.
Honestly, when I saw you were on your own, I wanted to text you, but I'm constantly texting people asking if I can come on their pods because I'm in, like, in a good mood.
You're such a podcast whore. I love it.
Because if there's anybody in the world that can fill the boots regarding football knowledge, insight, and know-how to Kevin Campbell, it's Mike Feinberg.
I mean, no one would have noticed the difference. No one. No one at all. So yeah, I mean, I would have. No, I was in a good mood. I was in a good mood before the game today. Like, I just felt like I wanted to get some thoughts out there. I wanted to talk about how happy I was about how this Alba thing was handled. Like, I've been in a talking mood, and I got like a requisite amount of sleep last night, which is not normally the case. So I was like shot out of a cannon today, but Owen was doing the post-game duties. So, so anyway, I love that you're here tonight. I think you did a great job on your post-game show.
Thank you.
As always, even-handed, credit where credit's due, despite, and that's what people don't get about you, is that you don't have an agenda. You have views, and those views change from game to game. It's kind of weird how that happens, right?
Who'd have thunk it, right?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it? So
yeah,
I mean, brilliant tonight from everyone. I didn't want any. I promised I was going to do no. Danny, sorry, that was funny.
I did. I was like, when I found out Owen was on, I'm like, I'm free tonight. He's like, no, we have a 3-person maximum. I'm like,
I don't want to take up any time from any fans wanting to come in. I just wanted to come in and say I love your open mic. I love what you do, and I think it's a good time to enjoy the result. I didn't want to be negative on our show for sure, even though I gave Xhaka an 8. That was deemed negative.
Well, I'm just waiting for someone to bring up Xhaka because his last 2 games have not been particularly good.
No, they weren't great. But what happened is everyone else's performance outweighed that, and the manager deserves credit tonight. He made a big, bold, brave decision to strip Aubameyang of the captaincy, and to get this type of response from a squad that is new and is still coming together, I think is incredible. And I've been very critical of him, but I've also praised him when he deserves it. And tonight, I tell you something, it's not easy to have men believe in you. It's not, you guys are men. It's hard to lead men. Men are, especially in sports.
We're dicks.
Well, we women aren't, I'm not saying we should be covered in glory all the time either, but to have strong-willed men and to make them believe in what you're doing is not easy. And I think this shows you the new DNA and the culture in the club that he's building, and to see them celebrate the way they did when we scored, the togetherness. And I'd like to just say, Lacazette, I know he's probably leaving the club, but my goodness, what
should he be?
What a performance, putting the team on his shoulders, which in turn had Saka put the team on his shoulders and Martinelli, and it just flowed all the way through the pitch. He missed the penalty, but he was brilliant tonight. And that result against the West Ham team that everyone's lauded, the media, pundits, everyone has just raved about Declan Rice. I feared him yesterday, even though I predicted a win. I didn't get the result right by any stretch of the imagination. We nullified him out the game. He had no impact in the game. We totally bossed it. And I just wanted to come on and say I'm really proud of the team tonight and the manager. And I think we should give credit where it's due. Well done.
Beautiful. Love to hear it. Would you like to stick around and hear from Aston and Alonso and some of the others in here, or do you need to go? I mean,
is Aston going to give me one of these? Go on then.
No, I was actually going to give you man of the match for that outfit today.
Oh, thanks. I've been, I can't remember what someone said on the show, but I got Minder, the old TV show. Owen probably remembers that show, but yeah.
I have a quick question for you though. Were you the informant that found out about all the drama that happened this weekend? Were you wearing that outfit? Are you Deep Throat?
We still talking about football?
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, there was a Nixon thing, and this isn't the point.
I couldn't resist. I mean, come on, he set that one up, so I went for it. But,
I'll take the assist.
No, I might actually celebrate and have a drink this afternoon too. It's brilliant. I love,
You're the only person on our podcast that hasn't been drinking yet. I mean, even our Australian guest, our first Max, who came over after being on our open mic on your channel on Monday, 10:18 in the morning, and he was already all champagned up.
We had people from Malaysia on tonight, Uganda, Pakistan. I mean, the Arsenal fan base is fierce, right? And I think
Aston,
people
you're from
mistake.
Uganda, right?
Wow.
Uganda, Florida. Uganda, Florida. I went to Florida. You gone to Florida.
Wait, there's also what's the Baghdad? Where's Baghdad? There's Baghdad. Is it Ohio? No, there's a Baghdad somewhere in the US, isn't it?
I don't know. My
I have to look it
I was
up.
gonna say my dad was in a bag.
All I know is Mike's going to be really mad when I get pulled for AFCON.
It's in California. Baghdad, California. It's actually in California. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
I think Owen's the only one that heard what I said, and that's the
I should
worst thing
leave
I've
now.
ever said
I
in my
think I
entire life.
should.
All
I
right,
should
Yeah, you
leave.
should escape.
All right.
So
Aston, your views on the game. I mean, Sophie, you can leave at any time. I don't want to hold you here, but I also love seeing you, so you're welcome to stay
I
here.
mean, I could check out, but maybe I'll never leave. You know.
Aston, man of the match, and anything specific that you want to get, talk. Actually, I want you to talk about something. 11th minute, Kofal challenges Tierney. It's like the arm into the upper chest, and then it keeps going into the chin. I don't think that was a red. I think it was called the right way. But did you see what Arsenal players did after that?
No. And this is the thing about that, right? Like I was furious at that point because all the players were gathering around the ref, and all the commentators could say we're going to clutch our pearls because we've never seen players get angry when they watch their fellow player get elbowed in the face before. Like, it's such a double standard when it's Arsenal. Arsenal are too soft to the touch, except for when we fight for each other. And in that case, now we're being too belligerent. Like, there's no winning with them, you know?
But I mean, that was a beautiful sign. I mean, again, and so
I loved it.
You've talked about it on your show about how, like, we don't necessarily want to encourage players to surround the refs and be, let's just say it. Let's just kind of be, bitches about stuff all the time and complain. But I mean, having some fight and standing up for your guy and putting a little bit of a seed into the referee's mind in the 11th minute of the game that we're not going to take this. Isn't that worth something?
We need shithousery in this team. We need smart shithousery. We don't
Right.
need Xhaka
Yeah.
shithousery.
Not the red card shithousery.
No, we need Tierney. We don't need Guendouzi grabbing players by the throat shithousery. We need
Pepe.
smart shithousery. Bruno Fernandes has finessed it brilliantly in the Premier League. Somehow that little wanker gets away with it all, right? See, I just came on to just throw some expletives around, but that's what we need. Well, that's what we need. And so I thought it was brilliant. We've complained about it on the show a lot, that they need to be bolder and braver and make those moves as a team. And I think that we've seen that in spurts, but I loved seeing it at home against a team like West Ham. So I love the shithousery. Bring it on. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and to your point, Sophie, like when we're all hyped up about Lacazette, like how great a leader that we saw on the pitch today, and in that 11th minute, when we were all the players were surrounding the ref, who was the player that calmed it down? Who were the last two players talking to the ref? Lacazette and Gabriel. Lacazette and Gabriel made sure to get in the ref's ear, meanwhile making sure the rest of the team weren't so belligerent that they were going to go off and get a yellow, which is, by the way, why I think that what's-his-face got the second yellow. It wasn't for the foul. I think it was actually for the dissent.
Yeah. No, it was great to see. And I think before I duck out, we totally bossed that game from start to finish in every sense of the word. It's the most complete performance for me, because Southampton's second half was brilliant, but then such a poor side. 35 minutes against Tottenham was brilliant, but the second half we faded. The first half at Leicester at King Power, brilliant. Second half again, we played a little bit more weak sauce and invited too much of the opponent. Aston Villa, I think, is comparable, but this tonight, for me was so much of a signature win, not only because of what's happened in the last 2 days with the captaincy and Aubameyang and Mikel Arteta, but also because we played a team that everyone is saying and suggesting they could make top 4, get into the Champions League, and they're still in all 4 competitions. So it was absolutely first class and flawless, in my opinion, barring missing a penalty by Lacazette and maybe a couple of giveaways from Xhaka. I thought that it was, I thought it was our best performance so far this season.
Can I
It was
ask you
beautiful.
something, Soph?
Aston, what a question, and then your man of the match, and then we got to move on. And
Definitely.
I'm hoping Soph will stick around for the next guest because it's someone she knows quite well.
So if you guys remember, Martinelli went down with cramp, right? And he went down off of the field. And Arteta, there's that image of Arteta dragging him onto the field. A lot of people had a problem with that. I did not. I don't think Martinelli really had a problem with that. But what's your read on that? In the entire game, it felt like Arteta was on just a little bit of an edge. He was super animated. You could hear him. He seemed like he was a little bit on the edge today.
This is the game he wanted to win above and beyond any game so far this season, even more than the North London derby. And a lot of that has to do with what's transpired in the last couple of games. And I did tweet, maybe cheekily, that he was acting like an AAYSO parent on the sideline in the first half, especially. He was so animated. It was kind of unnecessary, but we still got the win. I think what he was trying to do was make players soldier on. And in the end, he subbed Martinelli, and that was the right thing to do, right? So I don't have an issue with it at all. And I think Martinelli might be rested against Leeds. He might be on the bench, just take care of him and wrap him up in cotton wool a little bit because we're going to need him as this season goes on. So, for me, I just think it was kind of Arteta was in total war mood tonight. That's why I think he did that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want from him. I mean, the fact that he had to be told to calm down at one point by the referee is perfect. I mean, like I'd rather that than the guy who just sits in his chair for 90 minutes and doesn't say anything. So, Aston, your man of the match.
And also, just to add, Aston, on the pitch, the clock ticks off. I think that's why too. It's game management, so it's smart from Arteta as well. To give him credit for that one.
Yeah, I totally agree. My man of the match, by the way, I still have slight problems with us going forward. I have a lot of issues with the fact that even though we're getting in better positions now, even in the first half, we weren't really getting our shots off. And that has to do with a little bit of lack of chemistry in the top half, even though I think they're doing really good. But because the back half was flawless today, I have to give it to Gabriel. Nothing came the other way. Nothing. We're not even talking about it because it was so mundane and boring because it's job done.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with Gabriel as man of the match. He's not my personal choice, but I can absolutely see why he would be yours. And if I'm remembering correctly, in that scrum that I'm talking about after Koufal's challenge on Tierney, I think Gabriel was first and foremost in that group, and it's almost like people are fighting to be part of the leadership group.
I love what's happening. I love this. I love what's happening. I love that fans have different man of the matches. It's not often this has happened.
I love when we get 5 different man of the matches from 5 different people. I mean, instead of I guess it's got to be Ramsdale. I mean, it's so much better. Aston, thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Take care, and so stick around if you can, because we have joining us today, Kevin.
Hello.
Hey.
So, you all right?
I'm good. How are you?
This isn't a face reveal to yourself, is it?
Sorry?
This isn't a face reveal to you, is it?
No.
She's not seen me. Unless she's seen me on you.
You've been on our show very early on, Kevin.
Nope.
No? Oh, well, then I've seen you on Mike's show before.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
This is my 3rd appearance on Mike's show. I've been going to come on your show, but one or two reasons.
This is an OG right here. This is like hierarchy.
Absolutely.
This is squaddy hierarchy right now.
I've got hierarchy here. I don't think the other squaddies know I'm here, so I'm all right.
Yeah,
I mean, if Newman was here,
Well, Dublin Gooner and Mark are in the chat as well, and
Mark's been on with me before.
Yeah.
Mark's been on, and John. I mean, my God, John. Who I mean, I call Dublin Gooner John because
Just thought I'd finish my coffee off.
Hey, yes.
Hey, hang on.
I love it. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, that
This
you love
part
to
of the
see
first
that.
run.
now
You love to see it.
again, this is why when people, and Sophie's seen this firsthand. No, actually, it was in a different group. Sorry. This is why when people start attacking the Arsenal fan base for being this, that, or the other thing, that's when I get up off my ass and start bantering and not bantering, but like when I start going at people. I don't go at people over views about Arsenal, over opinions about Arsenal. I go after them when they start going after each other. And that's because this community that we have, and look, we're a small community that is, the Venn diagram of Arsenal communities. I am happy to have even the smallest little intersection with the Gooners podcast and Lee Judges TV and the Gooner Talk and AFTV and the Burkamp Wonderland. Any intersection that we have is great because it brings us people like Demsek, like Kevin, like John Dublin Gooner, like Andrew Robert, and that's what this community is about. So I almost got in a big argument with someone who I love and who we both love, so over some comments earlier this week that were like Arsenal fans believe blah 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 blah, and I will just always be defensive more of Gooners than I will about Arsenal or anything else, and it's because of the community that we have here. So enough about that, Kevin. This game, I mean,
Yeah,
we're going to win the treble this year, right?
Well, we already won the treble. I mean,
West Ham, Southampton, and Leicester. That's the treble, right?
We had a good second half against Southampton, a good first half against West Ham, a good second half against West Ham. That's a treble, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
I think so. To me, that's a treble.
So we're getting there. But I really wanted a raise, and Sophie does say this from time to time. There's a player that we used a lot in the game that is a silent assassin, and that's Tomiyasu.
Absolutely.
Ramsdale was playing the ball out to Tomiyasu, and Tomiyasu was whipping the ball up to Saka. Yep. And the moment that Antonio tried to hack Ben White, who was there to take him out? Tomiyasu.
Mm-hmm.
He so is one hell of a signing.
Yeah,
I almost don't want to talk about him that much because, I'm worried that we're gonna, how it happens. A player comes to Arsenal, has a great first 5 games. We talk about him like he's the next blah blah blah, and then he settles down to earth again, and like a Wobie or when he first got promoted.
It's been more. It's been more than 5 games though, hasn't it? And also, Mike, I think the difference is that Tomiyasu isn't seen as a glamour player, right? He's very much of, I compare it to the Bill Belichick, just do your job. And Arsenal haven't had players who just do their jobs in a long time. And we're seeing players like him, Gabriel, Ben White, Kieran Tierney, Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe. But the difference is the glamour players will always take the glitz from Tomiyasu. And that's the Sakas and the Martinellis of the world and the Emil Smith-Rowes. So for me, I think I think Arsenal fans will love and appreciate him, whereas opposing fans and pundits might not see it, whereas we see the work rate and what he brings to the team. And he shows just how much we've missed having a solid player in that right back position. He's so reliable and he's so good. And he looks like he's, I'll touch wood, very durable.
Yeah, that scares me when people say that. But he's done.
Shit.
He's taken 4 players' jobs and turned
Curse.
It into 1.
But the other thing also, what I've noticed in the last couple of games is his game is improving. He's starting to cut in to be when the Southampton game when Laka scored.
Oh my God!
The ball was cut across, but Tomiyasu was in a position to score.
Either one of them could have scored.
Yeah, exactly. But Tommy realizes that Laka's there and leaves it for him.
And Tommy was part of the build-up to that play too. He could have just basically watched it happen in front of him. After he had the give and go on the sideline, but no, he was there.
His positional play is impressive.
Overlapping. Sorry,
No, his positional play is so impressive.
Yeah.
It really is. It's really smart.
Yeah.
Really smart. I'm going to let you guys carry on. I don't want to take time away from your listeners, Mike. So,
well, you would never be doing that because they're here as much to see and talk to the likes of you as they are to talk to me. So you're welcome to stick around. But if you've got to go, go say
have a beer, Soph.
Yeah, I'm going to go relax, enjoy, and I'm going to watch the game again. I'm going to sit and watch it. So I'm prepped for tactical squad tomorrow night. But I just wanted to ask Demsek, he's Demsek to me. So Kevin, a question. Would you want to see Lacazette stay at the club now? Or do you think that's a bit too romantic in the sense that it's time to move on? But I love his leadership and I love the respect that he has from all of his teammates. So I would maybe want to keep him around for at least a year or so, but I'm not sure that's possible.
I'm going to give you a funny answer here. No. Right. And here's why I've gone both. Yes, my heart says yes for exactly what you're saying, but my head says no. And the reason my head says no is that I'm really concerned of his age. He will want a 3-year contract that takes him up to 33. You know, and we've been here before.
If he could stay for 1 year,
big contract,
and the money.
But he doesn't want the 1 year. He doesn't appear to want the 1 year. Right. He seems set to go. You know, that seemed. I mean, there's been talk of him not wanting to re-sign. So that suggests to me that the club have offered him something, but he's seen his mate Uber get 3 years and a big payout, and he wants something similar. So, yes, I think we benefit from him up front and we need a player like him to replace him. I'm more concerned about Eddie getting time over Balogun, if I'm honest.
Well, that's another open
a game
thing.
Today was ideal, but Balogun could have been bloodied for 10 minutes. But he's nowhere to be seen.
Blooded or bloodied?
Bloodied, yeah.
Okay.
You know, he could have been brought on the same time as Nketiah was brought on.
Yeah,
but they're trying to get Nketiah to sign. I don't know.
Or Pepe. But yeah, that's
well,
a whole other
for me, Pepe's a lost project, I think.
Yeah,
Pepe's just not worked out. The Premiership defenders have worked him out. Keep him out wide is useless. He can't use his right foot. Stop him cutting in.
Well, and I think that's probably what Arteta is like. You know, look, if you're that one-dimensional, you don't fit on this squad. And at this point, I'm not going to argue with him. Yeah. Demsek.
I mean, Saka against Southampton, 4 players around him, and he still hits the post.
Yeah,
it could have been a goal.
We got 2 more. We got 2 more folks to cycle through. So if you're gonna go now, thank you so much for joining us. I love you. We'll talk soon.
I can dive out as well. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. We'll bring on Alonso next, and so.
Speak to you later, Soph.
Bye, Kevin. Talk to you soon. See you tomorrow night.
Talk to you soon.
Take care and watch the Highbury Squad. They are the best podcast going on a daily basis right now.
We love you, Mike.
We're the best podcast going on an almost never basis, but they're the best one going on a daily basis. So
you're the best at something else, Mike.
I'm the best at something. I haven't figured out what it is, but yeah. All right, love you guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye, guys. God bless.
Bye. All right. Well, I'm not going to stay as this big voice on this big picture on the thing because I hate looking at myself. So we're going to bring on. We got 2, possibly 3 more people to bring on. We're going to go quick rotation here because we're already at an hour here. So Alonso, good to see you, my friend. My thoughts and heart are with you, my friend. And but let's just talk about Arsenal today, okay?
Yeah, Mike. Go ahead, man.
All right. So first of all, what do you think about the leadership team? I think the leader of the leadership team today, if it's believed to be Lacazette, gave us a hard decision here. We were just talking about it. I mean, if Lacazette played like that every single game, and I have no doubt he would if he was given the chance, do you give him what he wants, or do you worry that it's going to end up like Ozil and like Abba, and where you have a guy who's a little bit past it, maybe making a little too much money? Because Abba's not going to resign for 3 years at $80,000 a week. He's going to want $200,000. So how do you put Lacazette with that performance today and the decision about whether we try to keep him or can we replace him with somebody that's going to do the same job?
Well, I mean, let's put it this way, Mike. I think that he warrants at least 2 more years, maybe, because the clubhouse do value him as a captain. At least I think so, and the youngsters look up to him off and on the pitch, and so I think you got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he does try hard and he does have heart. Where as Ozil and Aubameyang really don't have that heart. They don't really have it. They didn't really have it in them whenever they re-signed the contract they were given, their last contract rather. But I think about Lacazette's different. I think that his performances aren't always there, but he's gonna give 100%, at least not 100. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Aubameyang was different than Ozil when he re-signed his contract. I probably should have paid more attention to his historical endings at his other clubs. But I just felt like, kind of like how you feel like, okay, well, at Arsenal, it's all different though, because he's happy because it's Arsenal and he's got gold, he's got the golden boot that's shared, and, he won't take the money and run and lose his impetus. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. There's the malaria thing. There's his mother. I mean, look, I don't mean to discount any of those things. Right. Believe me, you can be affected by that, by not playing in front of crowds because of COVID. So many different things. But I'm seeing something very different from Lacazette, and I do worry about losing him. Would I replace him? Do I think he can be replaced with a similar type player, a younger profile? Yeah, I kind of was rooting for us to sign Tammy Abraham because I thought Tammy Abraham may have been able to play the Laka role, but be 6, 7 years younger than he was. But that's just me. Who's your man of the match? And anything specific about today's game that stands out that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think that I agree with Kevin. I think that Tomiyasu, since he's been at the club, I think he's been a great signing for us. I think that he's just a great player for me, and I think for us as Gooners, we had to appreciate what he's done because he came out of left field when we signed him, and people didn't know what to expect. But because he was a center back by nature, right, and to come back and do a job at right back is really promising, really good on the team for looking out and finding a replacement for Bellerin, because Bellerin was gone. I mean, he wasn't where he used to be, and I think that's because of the injuries. But I think Tomiyasu has done a good job for our team, and there's some qualities in there that I really like about him, and him and Ben White together make a good right side defensive, I guess, pairing, I guess. So yeah, I'm very promised by that as well. So, I think our back four has been playing great, even though Tierney's been out. Altogether, it's been a fairly great business by all four parties.
Would you say that Tierney in the last 3 games has shown that despite the promise that we've seen from Nuno Tavares, despite the qualities that he has that maybe Tierney doesn't have, that Tierney is, when healthy, the complete left back and the person having Nuno Tavares, I mean, look, I'll call him whatever I want. Having him available without having to play him all the time is exactly what we all have always wanted, right? I mean, he has these qualities, but he's also a little rough around the edges and he's a little inexperienced. And I mean, Tierney, the last 3 games has been a different level. He's been average until his injury, but since he's come back from his injury, those crosses that he's put in, the way, I mean, my God, he's shown us exactly why we signed him for $24 million, which is a steal. So, I mean, the back 5 is set, right? I mean,
and Tavares, if you have Tierney as someone who you can learn from, it's also a bonus as well, Mike, because I think they could learn from each other. I think right now Tavares is learning a new league as well, and he's still very raw, and he's still very young too. So I think he's going to get Portugal's future left back, I believe. So there's experience that can work wonders for a kid like Tavares and as well as Tierney, because I think Tierney is still learning as well.
We've seen Martinelli be held back and then finally let loose. We've seen Tavares get a chance and then kind of be held back again, and maybe when he gets let loose again, we'll see the best of him. We've seen Sambi Lakanga in that situation now where he can't find a game, although he's going to get a fantastic chance to play when AFCON starts. These are not bad problems, man, right? I mean, like it's good to have a guy who can't find his way into the squad ahead of the players in front of him, as long as the players in front of him are not Willian. And I can say Xhaka, but that's a discussion for another day. Alonso, we're going to move on, man. Love to see you, buddy. Take care.
Right. Thanks,
Stay
man.
in touch, and we got 2 more, and then we're going to head out.
All right, see you, Mike.
Alonso,
thanks, man.
Yeah, no, I love you, buddy. Take care.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
All right, so next up is AJ, the penultimate open micer for tonight. We're going long because, look, we won, and it's good time. So, AJ, get that hair done, get it ready to go. You look fantastic. Where are you calling us from?
Yeah, actually, I'm in the US now. I shifted from India for studying. So, yeah, my first few months in the US.
Nice. Whereabouts?
Yeah, in Alabama.
Alabama. Wow. Okay. So you don't often hear the India to Alabama move happen. Like I mean, you got a lot of people who come into the country. They're in New York. They're in Florida. Alabama. I won't ask you personal questions like why did you come here and all that. But are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Still getting used to the cold though. It's much colder here than in India.
The cold in Alabama.
Yeah, like Americans, like people from the north won't think it's cold, but yeah, for an Indian, it's still cold.
All right. Well, let's talk about Arsenal. First of all, congratulations on breaking your duck with the Gooners podcast. We always like to have new people on, and so I say this in honor of you. You've broken your duck, and all right. So we're going with man of the match. And anything else that you want to tell us about the match today? I mean, it was a great day, but we want to hear from you.
Yeah, I think Saka is a good shout for man of the match. Like he had that Masako guy on toast. He couldn't live with him. I think he will have nightmares of Saka. Like I like it. Like he doesn't depend
come from. Like where did the whole I'm old, so I don't get like memes and social media. So like, where did the on toast thing come from? Is that new?
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard a lot about it. Like online, they use it a lot.
Sounds delicious, though. I mean, honestly, I love toast, and I love matsuaku on toast. So I'm happy with that. So I mean, are you full out saying giving him the man of the match, or giving him props, which he absolutely deserves? Because I mean, my God, Saka, we almost kind of get spoiled by Saka playing well, but today he didn't step a foot wrong.
Yeah, Saka and also Odegaard was good. Like he was pulling the strings, and Saka, like he's not too much dependent on the left foot. Like sometimes like we see with left foot players like Pepe, they depend too much on the left foot, but Saka goes on the outside as well. So I think he's really adding more to his game than just using his left foot a lot. He's trying to be varied in his game.
Absolutely. So we saw a substitution that frankly didn't bother me at all, but I've heard some people, say things about it. ESR coming in with about 25 minutes or so to play for Odegaard. Now, we've played Monday, Saturday, Wednesday. So it's not quite 2 games a week, but now is the start of 2 games a week for the next few weeks. We're going to have to rotate, even if we don't rotate the starting 11. Did you have any issue with ESR coming in for Odegaard? Would you let's assume Martinelli isn't hurt. I know he had a bit of cramp, but let's assume everybody's healthy and ready to go for the next game. Do you make a change in the front four? Or do you start the same way again?
Yeah, it's difficult. Like Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka, all 3 of them have been good, so it's difficult. But maybe if Martinelli has some issue, then maybe ESR could come on the left. And we have seen Odegaard and ESR play together, so I think that should be fine. So let's see.
Yeah.
And also, yeah.
No, go
And I
ahead.
also like the fact that like we as a team we were physical today, like especially in the middle. Like we know West Ham are a very physical side, so I like the fact that like we didn't shy away from being physical and going into challenges.
That's fantastic. I couldn't say it better myself. So, are you giving Saka the man of the match? Is that what I heard?
I think yeah, I would give it to Saka.
Beautiful. I would have no problem with that. My personal man of the match is got to be Lacazette for
Yeah, he was good.
showing what he did today. I mean, some people might dock the missed penalty against him, but I don't. It was not an awful penalty. It wasn't.
Yeah,
The penalty that
he-
Aubameyang hit against Emi
yeah,
Martinez.
Fabianski's save was good, and it kind of expected like ex-Arsenal players playing well at Emirates. That's been a common thing. So, and it was a good save by Fabianski. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I said to my son, who I watched the games with, I said Fabianski is one of the better keepers at saving penalties, and unfortunately it happened. But AJ, great to see you, man. Hope you'll join us again. Welcome to America, and enjoy the nice, cool winter down in Alabama.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, buddy, take care. And last but not least, we have Saeed joining us. Saeed, unmute your mic and join us. And buddy, where are you calling from?
Georgia, Mike.
Georgia. All right. Where in Georgia? Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah. Atlanta, Georgia.
My wife flew home from Florida yesterday and stopped through Atlanta, and she said she never ever wants to be in that airport again. Atlanta's beautiful, but the airport apparently was not. So, welcome to the pod. Welcome to your. This is your duck breaking appearance on the pod. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions after we do this. All right. First of all, where did you hear about us from?
From was Sophie's channel.
Beautiful.
Squad, yeah.
We love the Highbury squad. The squaddies have always been nice to us, and again, we will do this post game on her channel somewhat frequently going forward. But man of the match today, and anything else you want to share with us? I mean, I think I've gotten some of the notes that I wrote down, and I'll just throw these all out here, and you can tackle any of them if you want.
Sure.
The finish from Martinelli was almost Thierry Henry like. I'm not saying that they're the same player, but I'm not saying that. Does he hold his spot? Nketiah subbed in instead of Pepe in the 80th minute. Obviously got to ask questions about Pepe. Let's see. What else do we have? Just any other player that you want to talk? I mean, I have not heard the name Ben White tonight once, and I don't know if that's a good thing or if it's just normal, because I thought he had a fairly good game tonight, and it's almost like one of those things where where you don't hear their name, it means they played well as a defender. So, Saeed, let loose, man.
Sure, I can step in. So, I guess the reason why you haven't had Ben White, for me, I would say it's more a lot of Arsenal supporters, we're very hard on ourselves. So, if you watch the game closely, you realize West Ham they kind of set up very defensively, in the sense that Ben Hammer, who usually plays in the attack for them, Moyes decided to sacrifice him for Sufal, right? So from the start, he gave us that respect that we're playing at Emirates. And West Ham has a very bad record at Emirates. Like no matter how informed they are at the Emirates, they always struggle there. So
he's never won for 3 different clubs. I don't think he's ever won at the Emirates.
Yep. So he came into the game having that in mind, and then so went with an attack with a system that was very to kind of contain us and break with Antonio. And so you realize a lot of the work from Gabriel and Ben White was more just holding Antonio and making sure he wasn't in the game. So that's why we're not really talking about them, but they did an excellent job of making Antonio look like he was never in the game. There was no point where he was able to get space to kind of move in between the lines, to step in between the two, right? Now, the other piece that I heard you guys were discussing as well was to do with Lacazette. For me, man of the match, I would say would be like three players there: Martinelli, Lacazette, and then Bukayo Saka as well. Those three for me were absolutely great, on the front line. Lacazette for me, in terms of keeping him on, I don't really think, and I think that would be a backward step, because for me, my opinion on that is this: Arsenal never signed Lacazette as a front guy, because when we signed Lacazette, we already had Aubameyang there. We had Giroud.
Actually, it was in the opposite direction. Laka came before Abba, but after Giroud.
Yeah, after Giroud. But the point I was making with that was Arsene Wenger knew, like, we had Giroud. Giroud had no, at the time Lacazette came in, we had no intention. We didn't even there was no chance of Giroud leaving the club at the time. But Wenger still brought Lacazette in, and we all know Wenger is not the type that would bring two top players in for one position, because he knows he's going to struggle with getting them game time, right? And that's exactly what made Giroud had to leave eventually when Aubameyang stepped in. So Lacazette always came in as a number 10. But because we had Mesut Ozil, and he had always been a number 10 at Lyon, when he was in France, right? So at Lyon, he was always a number 10. He was never like an out-and-out striker. But our team is revolved so much that we find Lacazette having to play a front line. And today, like what I was going to mention is we scored 2. The only reason we didn't look troubled in that game is because West Ham, like I said, played a lot of the game, about 60 minutes of that game, very defensively and never attacked a lot. But you would think that our striker on the pitch at least should be on the score sheet. But we had to rely on Martinelli and then get the goal as well that we scored. Mm-hmm.
What about this, Saeed? Because I almost feel like when Aubameyang, or let's even say Nketiah, or in the rare occasions that we might have seen Martinelli playing at the 9, when those types of players are playing at the 9, all of our goals come from our forwards. Yet when Lacazette is playing at the 9, all of a sudden we're getting goals from our midfield, which is something that we've been saying that we need to have for a long, long time. Like is that a coincidence, or is that? I mean, sure, you want your talisman, you want your number 9 to be scoring, but and Lacazette would have had a goal if he had made a penalty tonight. But isn't it more important almost for us and the way that we play that the 9 get the 6 and the 8 and the 10 and the 7 more involved?
Yeah, for a team that is looking to be in a contention for like titles and be in the top 4 argument, you're really, I mean, that would be good for a team if you're looking to be around the top 6. Then you're fine with that. But if you're talking about being in contention for top 4, you have to have a striker that is putting the ball in the net. If you're scoring 2, the striker should be one of those scoring that goal. At least you get goals from midfield. The point I'm making with that is this: if West Ham had even a single goal today, and our striker didn't score a goal, and we had just 2 goals, imagine, just take it that if they had a goal maybe in the 50th minute or something like that, how tense that game was going to be. Because all we needed was just that 3rd goal. Because in the Premier League, there's no easy games. So when you get a team that, when you're on top of the game, you need to just take that moment, whether it's a 10 minutes moment, to just get the goals in, and that game is done. Because as far as the game keeps going, even if you're 2-0 up, and then the other opposition gets like a single goal, whether it's like 20 minutes to go, you're in for a game. Because at that point, like, no matter how bad they played, they just know they need just a set piece, a set play, or anything like that, just to put the ball in and they can get a point. So if we're looking to move to the next step, I just feel we have to let that Lacazette experiment move on, because now we have number 10s that would be able to do that work.
And look, I'm willing to let Lacazette go if we can replace him with a guy like Isaac, or like Isaac, or another. Vlahovic, I think is not coming to us, but improve upon him. Let Aubameyang go without replacement, and improve upon Lacazette, and we're good. I don't think I've ever had to urinate as much as I do right now, so we're going to end the podcast right now, my friend. Saeed, thanks for joining us, my friend. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again soon. Take care.
Take care. Thank you, Mike.
And this has been the Gooners Podcast post-game show, open mic. Watch us on the Highbury Squad when we're on. Watch us here when we're on. And come on, you Gooners.